Okay, welcome to day one of this breath of vitality. So we're working with a technique called Viloma pranayama, which is segmenting the breath either on the inhale or the exhale, and we'll be segmenting it on the inhale for this practice into four parts. So you're almost sniffing the breath in, pausing, sniffing, pausing, sniffing, pausing, and then a fourth time and pausing. And then the exhale is just one long, smooth breath out. So everything will be done through the nose. And the purpose of this segmentation is to stimulate certain nerves within the nose, as well as target different parts of the central brain complex and the nervous system in such a way that there's a sort of steady, controlled rhythm, and it creates this sort of predictability, and it's soothing ultimately for the nervous system. This is also effective for just deepening our lung capacity. Um, you'll see as you practice that you're going to have to sort of modulate how deep you go with each little segment. So you're not, inhaling everything all at once and then you have no more room. So this refines your technique for control and for awareness of your actual capacity. And then over time, growing that capacity, and honoring the space that you have in the full container of your breathing apparatus, right? Your whole torso. So if you want to feel that lower belly really expand, the second sniff, maybe around the diaphragm and the ribs, the third around the chest, and the fourth around the upper chest. So just a suggestion there of how to track your segmented inhale. Um, and this breath that we usually breathe, right, when we're just like doing our thing unconscious, tends to be a bit shallow, right? If we're not really aware, or we're just kind of the average person, let's say. Um, and shallow, fast, right? So there's many breaths per minute. And then with any pranayama practice, what we're doing is minimizing how many breaths we breathe per minute, which becomes really deeply nourishing for the brain, for all the systems in the body, not necessarily going into parasympathetic or rest and digest, but definitely communicating safety, and that we have a resource of energy. If we tend to rush, it signals to the nervous system that there's lack, right? There's something to get away from, or we have to rush towards something. And when we can slow the breathing down, that immediately communicates spaciousness, and actually that we're very deeply resourced. So that's what we're doing. We're resourcing not only through the energetics, but through the physical awareness of how much capacity we actually have for prana, for life force in the body, and developing that, extending that, expanding that. So I hope that it's very simple at the end of the day. This is like kind of one of those foundational practices that is just refining our awareness and our ability to control the breath and the energy that we allow in and that we make room for. So, I would love to hear how you're all doing. If you want to put in a little, uh, maybe a few words in the chat or unmute, and we can take a moment to kind of just check in with ourselves as we begin this process, having now just heard what this practice is all about, any intentions you have for the next 39, 40 days.
Hi. Um, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for doing this, Alex. I'm sorry I cannot attend more often, but I'll try to do this one. Yeah, so I just had a late lunch because here it's
Oh,
like 3 p.m. in in Europe. So I don't know, I just, try to do my best and see what happens. I
okay.
guess maybe it's not the best time to eat before this kind of practice, but you know.
Well, thankfully, this one's not as intense or vigorous, so it might help your digestion. Cool. I'm glad you're here. Slowing down. Yeah, looking forward to that. We got two votes on bringing things. Yeah, it's right. We're at this like threshold right now of uh the harvest season, of moving maybe out of like the slowness dog days of summer into the activation of preparing for winter, right? Or just like picking up projects more and more out of vacation. We're at the tail end of August here. So, yeah, sometimes we have to pick up the pace, but maybe we can expand our energy and slowness while we do that.
Good morning. The timing for me is like perfect for this, and just listening to your description of the breath and the nervous system. This is like, couldn't be more in alignment with just had a birthday. I've got two listings. I've got a like the things that are happening in life right now. It's so full. And I'm just like, I feel these moments of like overwhelm, just like just about to like take me out. So I love having this community every morning, and I love this day of the new moon and just casting an intention. I'd love to be here every single day. It doesn't always work out that I can be, but I feel like I'm this end of summer, like moving into the equinox time, the fall season, and on into October, is just, I'm just feel so grateful for this and dealing with some health things, and just, I'm just, this is perfect. The alignment and the timing and the essence of what you were saying, particularly about this practice. So October 1 is when I was planning to go on a journey, a trip. And so, but this next 40 days is like so full, I can't even like get my mind around it. So this is perfect. So I
Well,
feel really grateful. Thank you.
thanks for sharing. Blessed to have all of these opportunities, and those sound like good problems. Oh, well, thank you for being here. And yeah, let's begin. Let's get into our practice space. Um, so we can pause for a moment, find a comfortable position, make space in your body. Let your body know that you're becoming present for this self initiation into whatever you would like for the next 40 days to unfold, even if you're not showing up every single day for practice. Maybe you can show up just for a moment of a deep breath on those especially busy or hectic days as we touch into the new moon in Virgo, or in sidereal, it's Leo, the Maga constellation. Maga is one constellation of the King of Abundance. And Virgo is also of abundance, this sort of collection or harvesting energy, putting things in their place, being very highly attuned to the interplay of ritual as part of our daily habits and the sacred in the daily life, right? Really bringing spirit into those things that we may take for granted, the repetitions in our actions, filling them with awareness and gratitude. Virgo is also very much one sign of service. So, again, sanctifying our daily life, our relationships with others through this attitude of how can I serve to uplift and make this daily material life something sacred. Just starting here with a big exhale, emptying out, clearing the slate of inner energy, and then breathing slowly in through the nose, really filling up the low belly, mid belly, lungs, chest. And then again, nice long exhale, maybe out the nose or the mouth. Just starting to develop this contact with intentional breathing. So as we breathe in these segments, we'll want them to be relaxed yet focused, right? So as you sniff the breath in a sense, we don't want to squeeze or collapse the nostrils or pull the breath in too deeply. So just practicing that here, a relaxed yet focused stream of breath in and out. Keeping the nostrils relaxed, directing your attention to the feeling of your breath further along, deeper within your air passages and the movement of your diaphragm. So as you breathe in, this sort of sensation of the breath moving past that part of the throat at the back of the nostrils or the back of your nasal cavity, rather. And then down into the base of your body, of your container, and your belly. Right. Obviously, the breath isn't going into your stomach, but the diaphragm, as it expands down and out, expands also through the belly. So, making space in the belly by expanding the belly to make room for the diaphragm, for the lungs to drop down. So, it's a full body permission for deeper breathing. The lungs aren't the only things doing the work or supporting the lungs. The whole body is present for our expansion. Relax through the lower back, through the shoulders, tension points that tend to accumulate, constriction. Let's just take a moment to tune in. So I'll chant Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Invitation to all of the guides, teachers, supporters, ancestors, that creative force that supports us in constant new chapters and reinventions. So just breathing all the breath out. And then we'll inhale to chant. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Nice, soft, big breath in, suspending for a moment. And then exhale. Awesome. Let's stretch the arms, the spine, just moving any way that feels supportive for your body here today. Making space not only for your intention, for your practice, but for all the people that it will touch, all the things that we bring into this space that we carry with us day to day, and how that connects outward into this web of community, of our human family. When we sit in circle and practice in community, that affects all of us. So we're not practicing alone. Whatever I carry subtly comes into this container with everyone, and whatever you're bringing in, it's a place we get to hold things together and let things go together. What are you releasing? What are you planting into this field of 40 days, the lunar cycle ahead? And then we'll inhale nice and tall, just breathing through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And then fingers curling, thumbs out for ego eradicator, breath of fire. Open chest, open arms, eyes closed, looking up. And beginning when you're ready, nice steady rhythm. In, out through the nose. Inhale, stretching the arms overhead, thumbs touch, fingers reach up, hold at the top. And then exhale, slowly floating the arms down. Grounding fingers, energy, co-regulating with the earth beneath. May we be attuned to another, responsive to our own needs. All right, let us begin. So 4 parts in, 1 part out. And there's different signatures of this kind of segmented breathing. And this one in particular offers healing, energizing, and uplifting. So, because we're segmenting the breath in, it's sort of stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. So, we're activating an energetic input versus more this calming. However, the exhale being one smooth, long breath out is particularly calming in contrast. So, it is that sort of balance that we receive that contributes to the healing, to energy that is balanced and uplifting versus uh, manic, maybe. Okay, so let's begin with an exhale. And there's no particular drishti or eye gaze. You can keep the eyes closed or roll them up towards the third eye, or gaze down and open slightly if you'd like. So um, we'll start again with that exhale and then inhale through 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3 and 4, and then exhale. So slowly filling up that container, right? Belly, diaphragm, lungs, upper chest, trying to see it as maybe segmented in that way is helpful. So first few rounds, first few days, just developing that relationship between the segmenting of the breath and your capacity for each segment as balanced and complete within the 4 parts. And noticing where you can make space for each stroke, each segment to fill up the entirety. So maybe it's not just out and up, but back into the sides as well. So the invitation is heavy strokes of inhale. And I take that as like full and complete, right? There's a depth and a measured intensity to each stroke. Remembering each stroke is relaxed and focus, feeling the way the breath kind of travels to the back of the throat and the nostrils remain relaxed. job. Keep going. Just a few more minutes left. Just checking in that your inhales are still expansive and not contracting, or the belly's not pulling in, but pushing out. Right from that very first stroke in, belly's pushing out, low back, side ribs, lower diaphragm, mid chest, all pushing out. Gently but intentional. And then exhale, inhale, suspend the breath at the top. Exhale, let it go. And just drop in. Natural breathing. Feel what's here. Integrating this new energy just by observing it, feeling it, being at the front row of your own life experience. Fully present to what is here. Noticing maybe temperature changes or energetic presence in certain areas of the body, colors, anything that is really alive for you. tingling. And I invite you to rest for a few minutes after we close out, if you can, maybe lay down or meditate just to a little more deeply integrate this and yeah, let it become part of you through rest. I'll close the mantra Satnam, honoring that eternal truth of our true identity, spirit, soul, breathing in. Satnam. Peace to all, love to all, light to all. Wishing you a wonderful new moon and 40 days ahead. Thanks for joining today. Hope you're all feeling good after that. Any feedback from your experience today?
It was very swirly.
Oh, nice.
That's what I got right here-ish.
Mhm. In front of your face and neck, or just like in your body? Upper chest?
Yeah, that was where it ended.
Yeah,
And maybe a little bit. I'm moving it. I'm trying to move it around.
yeah. Thank you, King. Feeling light everywhere.
I'm curious about in the beginning, there was because I practice four square breath a lot. So there's like a natural pause at the top and a natural pause at the bottom. And that was happening naturally at first, almost like I went into automatic four beat, and then I thought it dropped. And
Mhm.
then, I mean, it's strange because it's so simple, but then it kind of got increasingly difficult to just, when you reminded us to keep going out, because there's such a, in my body, it wants to contract and go in when the breath is happening. So it got a little more difficult at the end, toward the end, but then it sort of relaxed because there is no intention, even if it's a natural rhythmic thing, to allow a pause at the bottom and a pause at the top. Is that
I mean, it's not specifically explicitly written, but generally, in the more traditional pranayama, Viloma pranayama, there is a little bit of a pause, I believe. I mean, it depends how it's taught, really. And I know that I mean, this one is a traditional technique, but it's also in, the library of teachings from the Kundalini lineage. So um, there, it's a brief pause, right? It's sort of like,
flash?
yeah,
Yeah.
they're naturally kind of just to integrate and settle. But
Okay. It's awesome. Thank you.
yeah, feel good. I hope y'all feel good. Thanks for joining. We'll see you tomorrow, I hope. Have a great day.